Ain't nobody messing with my queens, listen up. You ain't gotta love me, cause I love me. Put a hand up if you in the trenches building confidence, and put a hand up if you need some mending for your heart that's healing. Salute, say you in attendance, this army's relentless. A weekly dose of motivation, give me your attention. This is for all the queens going hell by any means. They chasing our self-esteem, it's not as hard as it seems. Go, go, go queen, go. Ain't nobody messing with my queens, listen up.
Welcome to the All Queens Army podcast. It's your girl, your host, Coach Breezy. I am here today with another dope episode for the queens. Yes, honey, I'm super duper excited because today is another Motivational Monday, and it's my favorite day of the week, as you all know, because it's the day that I get to be in your ears because you are in my hearts. Oh, yes, you are. I love my queens so much. I want to take a moment just to say thank you guys for continuing to tune in to the All Queens Army podcast and also sharing the All Queens Army podcast. Thank you guys so much. We're continuing to grow and I'm super duper excited about it. I also want to say thank you to the queens who have left reviews on the podcast. Thank you guys so much. If you haven't done that, you can actually leave a review on whichever podcast platform you listen on. Okay, we have such a great topic today, guys. I cannot wait to get into it. I'm going to be talking about 5 reasons why it's okay to not be okay. All right, like why it's okay to just not be okay. It's actually really okay to not be okay. There's plenty of days where you're just not gonna be okay. Plenty of days where you're just gonna have a shitty day. Plenty of days when you're irritated. Plenty of days when you're frustrated. And guess what? That is okay. Now, this is gonna sound like the total opposite of what we usually talk about, right? Because usually I'll tell you guys, you don't want to fester in icky and yucky and negative emotions, right? That's usually what my content's all about. That's usually what my message is about. But I want to make sure that we have some balance, queens. I want to make sure that you guys are not taking that message where I say don't fester in the negativity and fester in the negative emotions and fester over the negative outcomes and fester over the negative days. I want to make sure that you guys are not misconstruing that message, because sometimes what I get is people beating themselves up because they feel like they're festering and they feel like they're down and they feel like they had a bad day, and they start to then feel guilty about feeling bad or about feeling the negative emotions. And that's completely counteractive. So we don't want people to go all the way to the opposite end of the extreme. So that's why today we're going to insert a little bit of balance for you queens, just so you understand that you do not have to beat yourselves up and that it's okay to not be okay. All right. So we're going to jump into that in just a second. Before we do, I have a couple of really quick announcements. We only have 2 more episodes before the season finale. So yes, we have another season in the books, y'all. Season 4 is going down. It's going down. So I want to say thank you guys for listening. Because of all of you, we have another super successful season and another season of growth. So thank you guys so much. I can't do it without you. You guys continue to inspire me to keep going, and I really appreciate that. So queens, let's make sure that we continue to read the All Queens Army blogs. Oh honey, yes, the traffic continues to go up. So I know y'all out there reading. Make sure you share the blogs with a friend or on your social media page just to support All Queens Army and the platform's growth. I appreciate that. So remember, new blog posts drop every Thursday at 6 a.m. So make sure you tune in with your favorite tea or your favorite coffee and sip on that motivation, because it's different than what we're talking about on the podcast. Okay. So the next thing is the life coaching program is popping. Okay. I'm enjoying working with some of you queens one-on-one. The life coaching program is something that I started at the beginning of this season. Season 4, I launched it because I answered so many questions for you guys through my email and through my DMs. I decided, you know what? Let me just create a program and a package that the queens can enroll in if you need some one-on-one assistance with a specific issue or problem or something you're trying to overcome or a goal that you're trying to meet or something like that in your life. Okay. You can take a look at those packages. They are available on the website. website. Just take a look at the different packages and choose whichever one works best for you and your situation and go ahead and enroll in that. I love working with you guys one-on-one. It's been so fulfilling, so fun, and really truly enjoying watching you guys have your breakthroughs and overcoming, okay? It's been really awesome. Here's another free tool and resource that's available on the website. It's the ebook called How to Create Boundaries and Stand Up for Yourself. It is a fantastic read, so you can go ahead to the website and download that for free. And last but not least, Queens, make sure you have subscribed to the All Queens Army podcast. You can do so by going to the website, clicking on the subscribe tab, and choosing whichever podcast platform is your favorite, okay? We are available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, YouTube, Amazon's Audible app, Google Podcasts, and Facebook. Okay, Queens, let's jump into today's topic. I want to talk about 5 reasons why it's okay for you to not be okay. I want to ensure that you guys have some balance in your lives. Please do not take all of the things that I say, all of the motivation that I give, all of the tips and suggestions that I give, and take it all the way to the far left or all the way to the far right. We don't need to be extreme, okay? If you react in extreme ways, it's completely counterproductive. So let's jump right into why it's okay to not be okay. Here's the thing. We're never always okay. No one in the history of life is ever going to always be okay. No one in the history of life is ever going to always know exactly how not to react in a negative way, or exactly how not to react off of their emotion, or exactly how not to allow a situation to get the best of them, to make them mad, to make them frustrated, to kind of wallow in self-pity for a while, to become the victim. Listen, no one's going to ever perfect that part of their lives, okay? There's no such thing as perfection, so you have to understand that it is a guarantee that you will have periods of your life in which you are just not okay. And that's okay. That's 100% okay. It's totally fine for you to have moments, for you to have days where you're just not feeling it, when you just feel defeated, when you just feel like you want to give up, when you're just kind of like, you know what, fuck this, when you just don't feel like logging in for work today, when you don't feel like cleaning up, when you just don't want to fold the clothes, when you're just tired of people's attitudes, where you just kind of lash out because someone pissed you off, where you cuss a motherfucker out. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm using big cuss words today because it's okay to just not be okay. It's okay not to be perfect. It's okay to not overcome every problem with the courage of a lion. It's okay, y'all. I promise we are not always going to be on 10. We're not. I know some of you may think that because I'm the one talking on this podcast that I am always on 10 and that I am always rock strong and that I'm like a knight in shining armor. I am not 100% of the time. I promise y'all, I have my moments. I do. We all do. The key is to be able to shift your mindset so that you don't stay there for long, lingering periods of time, okay? But it is absolutely 100% human and acceptable and natural and okay for you to just have shitty days, shitty moments, a shitty attitude, a bad response, a fleeting impatient moment, a day or 2 or 10 when you didn't check everything off the to-do list, a day or 2 or 10 when you didn't feel like you were the best mom, a day or 2 or 10 when you forgot to do some important shit, a day or 2 or 10 when you didn't vacuum the floor, you didn't wash the clothes, you didn't iron the shit, you didn't make the call, you forgot. You just have those moments and it's okay. It's okay for someone to say some disrespectful shit and you just didn't have the right witty thing to say to stand up for yourself and to create those boundaries and not let nobody fuck with me today. It's okay. I promise y'all. We're not models of perfection. I know that life will make you feel like you're supposed to be, you have to be. I know that life will guilt you and people will guilt you and people will talk shit about you and people will drag your name through the mud and people will try to cancel you just because you do one little thing wrong. But I'm here to tell you that you can do one little thing wrong. You can do 2 little things wrong. You can do 20 little things wrong. And it's okay. The thing about it is you don't want to make it a habit. You don't want to make it so that you responding in a negative way, or you not standing up for yourself, or you not saying how you feel, or you letting people sweep shit under the rug, or you not doing the dishes, or you being irritable with your family. You just have to make sure those things don't happen consistently all the time. And when they do happen, make sure you allow yourself to let yourself be okay with the fact that you did it. And after you allow yourself to be okay with the fact that you did it, or okay with the fact that you reacted that way, or okay with the fact that you forgot something, or or okay with the fact that you weren't perfect, once you actually allow yourself to do it, just acknowledge that it was just a bad fucking moment. That's it. It was a bad moment. It was a bad choice. It was a bad decision. It was a bad day. That's it. And then get up the next day and do it differently. Do it better. That's it. It's really not that big of a deal, guys. It's really, really not. So let me go through the 5 reasons why it's okay to not be okay. Here's number 1. If you were always okay, you would never know what your opportunities for growth are. Think about it, guys. Life has to have extremes. It can't be okay all the time, because if everything was okay all the time, you wouldn't appreciate the good. You have to have the bad, the negative in your life to appreciate the good. You have to have up to know what down is. You have to have down to experience what up is. If everything were just always okay and not okay didn't exist, you wouldn't even appreciate the okay. So you have to have varying degrees of things in life. If you don't have different variations, then everything is always the same. And that's just a fact of life. You have to have different variations of things. So you have to expect that everything can't possibly be okay all the time. And with that logic, there has to be times when it's not okay. And that's okay. That's a natural thing. Just accept it and be okay with it and learn to be more patient and tolerant and compassionate with yourself, all right? Here's the second reason why it's okay to not be okay. Because acknowledging when you are not okay is the first step towards being able to get where it is that you want to go, or who it is that you want to be, or what it is that you want to do. See, you can't do anything about where you are, who you are, how you act, what you do. You can't change directions or do anything different if you can't acknowledge where you are. So if where you are is in a place that is not okay to you, it's your perception that where you are isn't okay. You're not okay with being wherever you are. You're not okay with whatever situation you're in. You're not okay with it. See, that's what's great about not being okay, because you know that it's not okay. Now that you know that it's not okay, now that you understand where you are, which is in a not okay place, now you can actually do something to get to an okay place. See, if you're not able to acknowledge that you're not okay, then you'll never be able to do anything about not being okay. So even the fact that you can acknowledge the fact that you're not okay is a blessing in and of itself. I know that might sound confusing, but think about it like this. A person that's overweight, right? Let's just say that they need to lose some weight because they have some major health issues. And if they don't, then their days are numbered, right? Let's just say that that's the situation. If a person cannot acknowledge that they're not okay, meaning that they don't have any control over their eating habits, that they're going through a depression or whatever it is that's causing them to overeat, if they cannot acknowledge that they're not in an okay place and they're in denial, then they can't do anything about it because they have victimized themselves. They don't believe that they're there because they're not in a good space. A lot of times what people do when they're in that kind of mindset is they blame other outside things for why they're not okay. The bottom line is they're not okay. They, them, that person, not everything around them. So until you can acknowledge that it's you that's not okay, then you have the power to do something about it. But when you can't acknowledge it, when you can't own that you're not okay, you can't make yourself okay. You can't change what you're not willing to acknowledge. And that's why I say there is beauty in the acknowledgement. Just the fact that you can admit that you're not okay is the first step at changing your life, because you're willing to own it. You're not blaming the situation for why you are where you are or what happened. You're saying, I'm not okay. That's ownership, and that shit is powerful. Okay, let's move on. Here's the third reason why it's okay not to be okay. Because you're a person. You're not a robot. And that's why it's okay. It's okay to not be okay because you're a human being. You are wired with tons of emotions and feelings and thoughts and all kinds of electrons and neurons and shit that make you think and feel things. You're not a robot. You do not turn on and off like a light switch. You are a human being. The human mind, the human brain is a very complicated thing, queens. You're going to have days where just all of the wrong things happen at the wrong time and it's just fucking annoying, period. And that's okay. I'm going to just leave it at that. And the bottom line is that it's just okay because you're human, and humans are allowed to just not be okay. I know that one's pretty simple, but I have to say it because, y'all, I talk to so many people every day. And the thing about it is some people really have these crazy high, ridiculous, unrealistic expectations of themselves. We're not computers, y'all. We're not not hardware. We're not hardwired. I know everything we do is with technology. Everything is a computer. Everything is online. Everything is in your phone. Everything is technology. But queens, stop forgetting that you're not a part of the technology. You're not. You're the human. You're not the technology. You do not have the benefit of operating like a robot. You do not get the benefit of operating like a software system, like a program. You're not. It's not quite that simple for us. We're a lot more fucking complicated. Trust me, okay? So enough about that. Just know we're not robots. That's the bottom line, okay? All right, here's another reason why it's okay not to be okay. Here's the fourth one, okay? And it's because knowing and acknowledging that you're not okay shows that you are self-aware, and self-awareness is a power position. You're self-aware. You are aware of what's going on around you. Understand that there's a lot of people who do not have the mental ability to identify how they feel. So I want you guys to really own that and really be proud of yourself and feel good about the fact that you can identify how you feel when there's so many people who cannot even find the words to articulate and express what it is that they feel. So if you still have that ability, consider yourself blessed. Seriously, consider yourself blessed. A lot of people struggle with being able to talk about their feelings, to be able to get deep down inside of themselves enough to be able to recall emotions, to be able to recall their feelings, to be able to get in touch with their higher selves so that they can really even understand their own self. Some people have completely disengaged with themselves, and other people struggle with mental health issues. So if you still have the presence of mind to be able to identify and be aware enough about your place in your life, about your emotions, and about what you feel, just consider yourself blessed, and I'll leave that at that. Thank God, thank the universe that you still have that presence of mind, okay? Okay, here's the fifth reason. The fifth reason why it's okay not to be okay, all right? It's because not being okay gives you the perfect opportunity to work through your feelings. Yes. Feelings. You know, those little uncomfortable things that so many of y'all try to act like y'all don't have. Those little things that make us feel vulnerable, that we don't like to talk about, that we like to pretend we're so savage about. Oh yeah, I don't have a whole bunch of feelings. Oh, I don't have time for feelings. Oh, I'm a real savage. I don't have time for that bullshit no more. Well, I'm not super sensitive about that stuff anymore. I don't really care about that stuff anymore. See, not being okay is an opportunity. Now, y'all know I always talk about problems and issues and unfortunate circumstances and yucky feelings and dealing with stuff that you don't want to deal with, and experiencing unwanted situations happening in your life are all opportunities. So if you don't feel okay, if you're not having a good day, if you don't feel good, guess what? It's an opportunity. That's life pushing a button to try to alert you that there's something going on that you're not okay about that needs your attention. There's something going on that you're not okay about, right? Whatever it is that you don't feel okay about, it's like a little alarm going off. Burr, burr, burr. It wants your attention. It wants you to pay attention to something about that thing. Something about that thing you need to resolve. Something about that thing you need to overcome. It could just be a, hey, watch out for this. It could be a warning. It's just something that's trying to get your attention for a specific reason. It's an aspect or part of your life that you need to pay attention to. If it was an argument with your kid or an argument with your spouse or your mom or something like that, and you're just all pissed off and you're still fuming about it and you just ain't feeling it, you're just not okay. It's just something under the surface that just don't sit right with you. It is a little red siren that is just going off that's telling you that it is something deeper inside of that situation that needs your attention, okay? It is a blessing. Bad days can sometimes be a blessing, y'all. Not being okay, honey, it's just an opportunity. It's just identifying a thing that you need to pay attention to. It's a blessing. Might be a lesson. I'm just saying. All right, guys, that was a real easy peasy, hopefully a light episode for y'all. I just really wanted to take a moment to let you guys know that it's okay to not be okay. Everything doesn't always have to be super extreme. You don't always have to be super hard on yourself. You do not have to have expectations of yourself for you to perform like a robot, for you to just be perfect Patty, know how to respond, know how to act, know how to bat down the negativity, know how to turn away all of the negative thoughts. You're not perfect. You're human. You're flawed. We all are. I have shitty days. I actually had a shitty day the other day. It was because of my job, but shitty nonetheless. And I too sometimes will beat myself up a little bit like, oh my gosh, I know better. Why do I let them get me all worked up? Why do I let them pull me into their negativity? Why do I let them pull me into like a bitch and complain fest? Oh, I know better. I shouldn't have done that. And then I start beating myself up, and I literally just did this shit the other day, guys. All I'm saying to you queens is this. We don't need to do that. Let yourself have a bad day. Just let yourself have it, baby. You got to let yourself have a bad day sometimes. It's not the end of the world. It's okay. You will bounce back. You can. I promise. All right? Okay. So with that being said, Queens, that is the end of this episode. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. You know, I love you so much. You know, I'm so grateful. Like, I love y'all and I'm so grateful. Like, I just wish I could just hold one of y'all and squeeze y'all so tight. Now, I know we still dealing with COVID, so y'all might be like, Bree, that's a little too much. It's not too much. I love y'all, okay? I do, from the bottom of my heart. All right, I can't wait to talk to you guys next Monday. We have another really great episode next week, so make sure you tune in. Make sure you subscribe to the All Queens Army podcast. Also, follow me on Instagram at All Queens Army and subscribe to the All Queens Army YouTube channel, okay? Okay, I love you guys so much. I will talk to you next week. Have a wonderful day, and I will talk to you soon. I love you guys. Bye.